Thanks for joining me again this week. This week was Economic Development Week throughout Maryland, and it allowed us to highlight the incredible diversity and strength of Montgomery County's business community and their efforts to create more good-paying jobs. Over the last 2 years, I've made several international and domestic trips, talked to leaders of foreign governments and global business leaders. Our county, home to the Food and Drug Administration and the National Institutes of Health, has distinct advantages for life sciences companies. 6 companies have been successfully recruited and are already doing business in Montgomery County. Another 7 companies have committed to establishing offices in Montgomery County. Nearly all of these new companies are taking advantage of small grants offered by the state aimed at international development. These companies can help us achieve one of our goals of creating more high-paying jobs here. A new effort to stimulate job growth in the county began this week. We've launched the Job Creation Growth Grant Program. The $10 million program will help create jobs that earn above $100,000 a year in salaries. Additional financial incentives will be reserved for companies that fit within one of our key growth industries, like the life sciences or hospitality industries. Montgomery County is focused on creating a vibrant economy that offers high-quality jobs for our residents. This initiative is another tool to attract and retain businesses that pay well and contribute to the future growth of the county. In November, we will launch the next phase of this plan, which focuses $7 million in seed money for entrepreneurs and innovation grants. By supporting industries that are key to our economic success, we ensure that Montgomery County remains a place where businesses can thrive and where our residents have access to greater career opportunities and services. Over the last few weeks, I've been talking about my concern regarding the Planning Board's recommended growth and infrastructure policy, also called the GIP. Their proposal would have reduced revenues by more than $14 million over 6 years, even though the GIP is supposed to be about providing the adequate public infrastructure that must accompany development. My staff and I have asked the County Council to reject the Planning Board's recommendations and at the very least do no harm. This week, the Council took a straw vote on the GIP, and while they lessened the revenue loss, there would still be a loss of $8 million over the 6-year period. A final vote is scheduled for November 12th. What I have been most concerned about is that the GIP is supposed to address the adequate public facilities that are needed to accompany development. The GIP raises the funds to go toward transportation and school improvements that are needed with new developments. Since 2013, funding for the GIP, which used to have a different name, has been cut 5 times. These cuts in funding contribute to the backlog of school and transportation projects. That decrease, accompanied by a policy that has held bond spending pretty much unchanged for 7 years, has made it difficult to address the needs of our county. As a result, projects have been delayed, rising costs reduce how far our money goes, forcing us to compromise on our needs. Reducing revenues from the GIPs takes us in the wrong direction. Fewer revenues and more exemptions from standards. I urge you to contact County Council members and tell them that funding for adequate facilities is critical. We cannot continue to pass the burden on to homeowners today and in the future, who will wonder why we invited growth without executing the proper plan to account for more kids in school, people on the roads, and strains on our public resources. Probably the worst aspect is ignoring the simple fact that in Fairfax County, our much touted competition, the highest taxes are in the most desirable areas to develop, and this has been used to fund their growth and infrastructure. Montgomery County cannot continue a failed policy of making the most desirable areas in the county have the lowest taxes, which prevents us from building infrastructure. We're a cheap date, but we're failing to get developers to take us out, so to speak, because being cheap is not as good as providing infrastructure. A new poll is being touted as support for the Attainable Housing Strategies Plan. The poll was conducted on behalf of Greater Washington among Democrats. Let's be clear, this isn't a regular poll. This is a push poll, where the developers of the questions intentionally lead a recipient into a desired response. When you read the questions in the crosstabs that they've published, there are no clear conclusions to be drawn. Public support allowing duplexes, triplexes, and quads may be favored, but do you allow them without any controls? Have they asked that question? No. Trees seem to be out of the question in terms of preservation. Storm water drains No discussion about that. This is not how anyone should do a public policy. There are some basic questions and concerns that have not been addressed by the Planning Board in the work on attainable housing. Here are my top 5 current questions I have about this proposal. 1, where's the analysis of what's possible already under our current zoning? Where's the rationale for wholesale changes to 82% of the single-family homes? Where is the focus on affordability when virtually everyone who supports the policy says that's because we believe they need more affordable homes? Where's the equity analysis and what would it do to neighborhoods that would be ripe for purchase by developers? Number 5, why wouldn't we do this more thoughtfully? The Planning Board has estimated that demand for housing will create 87,000 units by 2050 based on existing zoning in the county. This is what's in the county's long-range Round 10 forecast. These include very large master planned areas that have not been built out and have a lot of capacity. If this attainable housing is so critical, then the first step should be to look at the existing plans and to see if they need adjustment. After all, if you have all this capacity and the housing isn't being built, have we zoned for the wrong type of housing? They should not pretend that the only choice is to change zoning in existing single-family neighborhoods in order to supply the desired housing. Throughout this whole debate, the Planning Department continues to refuse to talk about existing zoning capacity as if it doesn't exist. I encourage all residents to continue to pay attention to this discussion and talk to your neighbors as well as your community and homeowners association. There are still plenty of folks in our community who are not aware of how important this proposal is to their neighborhood. This week we celebrated 2 historic changes atop our fire and police departments with the first dual swearing in of our new chiefs. Corey Smedley became the department's first black fire chief. He understands that the strength of our fire service lies in the partnerships between our volunteers and our union members.
I'd like to first express my deepest gratitude to our frontline staff, professional support staff, division chiefs, assistant chiefs, battalion chiefs, volunteers, and our union members. Your dedication and sacrifice are the backbone of our department, and I'm honored to serve alongside each and every one of you. As we progress together, I want to acknowledge the incredible work that the Montgomery County Fire and Rescue Service accomplishes 365 days a year.
Marc Yamada's roots in Wheaton run deep, graduating from high school there and returning there for his first assignment out of the academy.
But I did take pride in a couple of things. Knowing that I never let the negative determine who I was or who I was going to be, and that I earned everything that I got. No one handed me anything in my entire life. Ultimately, I was able to serve as a deputy commander and then as the commander of the Wheaton district and thought my career was complete. But as I stand here today, I'm your chief of police. Who would have thought?
Both Marc and Corey share a fundamental value, the strength of partnerships, and be engaged with their employees. We heard that loud and clear. They know that public safety isn't a solo effort in this line of work. There's pressure of perfection that's expected 100% of the time. There are not many things people have to do where you have to be right 100% of the time. That's an enormous amount of pressure. And it's really good to have people like this willing to stand up and work under that pressure. This week's ceremony was an acknowledgement of how far we've come as a county to create a safe home for all races, religions, nationalities, and genders. Inclusion is a key part of Montgomery County, and now more of our key leadership reflects that. I want to thank Governor Moore and the Maryland Energy Administration for funding a new food truck electrification pilot program, a first of its kind in the region. We want to see diesel-powered food trucks generators replaced with electric generators and help food truck owners with the cost. The Maryland Energy Administration is providing $10,000 to $25,000 awards to offset the amount needed for these upgrades. Receiving this $150,000 grant from the state is a major step forward for our sustainability efforts. It underscores our commitment to reducing carbon emissions and improving public health by cutting down on harmful pollutants while supporting small businesses. One great feature of this plan is that electric generator systems are projected to earn back their cost within 2 years through fuel savings. In collaboration with the Montgomery County Green Bank, the food truck generator electrification pilot will offer a cash rebate plus 0% interest loans for the cost of equipment and installation, enabling operators to switch to electric generators and avoid upfront costs. These trucks produce more than 4 times as much carbon dioxide yearly as an ordinary vehicle. The pilot program alone could help eliminate 515 tons of carbon pollution annually. My hope is that it will inspire our leaders to help small businesses while helping the environment. If you are a food truck owner or you know of one who would be interested in making this conversion, have them submit a form online to the Department of Environmental Protection at montgomerycountymd.gov/DEP to express interest in the pilot program. Early voting is now underway and will continue through Thursday, October 31st. 2 years ago, more than 5,000 people voted on the first day of early voting in the county, which is significantly down from 2018, when more than 14,000 people cast a ballot at the earliest possible opportunity. One key change since then is the increase of mail-in ballots. Last week, we heard from the Board of Elections that 166,000 mail-in ballots were sent out in Montgomery County this year, and more than 50,000 had already been received back. You have until Election Day, Tuesday, November 5th, to get these ballots into the mail, or you can use one of the very convenient, secure drop-off boxes that are set up around the county. Visit 777vote.org to find the nearest early polling place location or ballot drop-off site near you. Halloween is coming up, and I want to encourage everyone to be safe this Halloween. Slow down in your neighborhoods and look for children and families out next Thursday for Halloween. You can celebrate this Saturday at Halloween at the Marion Friar Town Plaza from noon to 4 p.m. That will be one of a few places to catch the county's Monster Flash Bus. There are also celebrations in downtown Silver Spring Saturday afternoon and evenings at Rockville Library on Sunday afternoon. Halloween is one of my favorite holidays, but enjoy it and keep it safe. That's a wrap for today. Hope you have a great week, and I'll be back again next week.